Hi, this is Ben from 561 Music Podcast. Right now, we're trying to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. It just helps us get out there more. It also enables us to monetize the podcast, to make it better, do more advertising for it and things like that. Subscribe to the podcast and hit the notifications button. That would be doing us a really big favor. Thank you very much. Welcome to 561 Music. My name's Ben.
And I'm Hector.
How are you, mate?
I'm not doing too bad, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. What we've been doing, we went to Terra Firmata on Friday, didn't we?
Friday, yeah, that was fun, man.
Yeah, it was like a bit of a last minute thing, but it's just nice to be back in there. We used to play there all the time, and so yeah, we had a great time. It was cool. It's always a joy to play somewhere that actually has a sound engineer.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It's the sound was good. There was a good crowd there. It was just fun. It was what was it, First Friday Fest or something they called it? Yeah, that was cool.
I think they have there was some article written about venues that have the best sound systems in our area, and Terra Firmata was one of them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They have a great system in there.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, awesome stuff. And then we were at DAS on Sunday. I had quite a busy weekend because I was running around on Saturday as well. But yeah. For the band, it was just Friday and Sunday, wasn't it?
Yeah, so DAS was a little, I don't know. It was odd to play on a Sunday, but I guess it was a holiday weekend.
Yeah,
so,
I think that's why.
Yeah. But I mean, there was people in there. It was fairly busy for a Sunday night, man.
Your fam came and represented.
That's right, man.
Yeah,
they brought my new puppy.
Yeah. Adorable Indy.
That's right.
Yeah. If anyone wants to see a cute
Indiana
puppy.
Jones, I don't care what anybody says.
No, it's one of the most adorable dogs.
Who knew that puppy was such a chick magnet, man? Did you see like all the women stopping like, oh,
that's
puppy?
like Chick Magnet 101.
Puppies and babies, apparently, man.
Yeah, dude.
But that was just crazy.
Yeah, it's adorable. And I think that I've kind of broken the seal on getting another dog. I got to get a puppy.
Nice. Nice. So Indy needs a friend.
Yeah, I've always wanted a purebred Staffordshire Bull Terrier. So I'm going to go around.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Do you know what a Staffordshire Bull Terrier
I
is?
can't even pronounce that. What the fuck is that?
So they're like they basically look like miniature pit bulls.
Okay.
They're like little. It's an English breed of dog. They're just small. It's a small type of pit bull.
And I'm sorry, say it again.
Staffordshire.
Staffordshire.
Yeah, Bull Terrier.
Staffordshire Bull Terrier.
Yeah, check them out. They're adorable. Everyone calls them Staffies.
Staffies.
Yeah, they're super cute. And
not to be confused with Stiffies.
Indeed, or staff. Anyway, the thing is that I don't think I could ever really bring myself to get a dog from a breeder because I just feel like you should get them from dog homes. So I'm just going to go around dog homes until I find one.
Was this is this a small breed though? It's like a miniature version.
It's not. I mean,
medium?
It's small for a pit bull.
Smallish, yeah.
It's like sort of 2/3 the size of a regular pit bull.
Dude, this German Shepherd puppy we got, it's like. It was so tiny, like it fit just like in my hands when we got it just a few weeks ago. It has to have doubled, possibly tripled in size already.
Yeah, I believe
this thing is going to be huge. I'm a little terrified.
You'd be fine.
It's going to destroy our house. The other one we have is really calm and whatever, but this one just bounces around, man.
Have you had German Shepherds before that?
Well, this is the second one we've had.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the other one's 11. The other one we got when he was like, I want to say he was about 14 or 16 months.
Right.
So he was like already trained, already well-behaved, calm, whatever. This was just bouncing off the walls, and we're having to like do all the training and all that stuff. So it's, you get up in the morning, he's biting your ankles and stuff. So
have you thought about sending it to a place?
Like doggy boarding school? Like, what are we talking
like one of my friends just did that. They sent their dog away.
No. We're doing it all ourselves, man. We trained the other one. Because he was a German Shepherd, we thought it would be funny to train him with all German commands. So we have all German words for all his commands, and so we're doing the same thing with this one.
Okay, nice. That's pretty cool.
He's starting to listen. Yeah, he's starting to listen. He's starting to listen, but yeah, we'll see.
I got some ink this week.
You did get some ink this week, man.
So I'm slowly but surely eradicating any natural skin on my body.
I know, man. Mine just healed, so I'm ready to add some.
Yeah, there you go. Attack billies,
I got the fever now.
It's difficult once you start, man. We have Stumble Steady with us this week. How's it going, guys?
Hey.
Great.
How are you?
What's going on? How are you?
Yeah, very well. We have Cara, Garrett, and John, isn't it?
That's
Correct.
us.
Yeah, and it's the vocals and 2 guitarists in the band, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And who are we missing? Who's not here today?
We are missing Ben and Nat.
Oh, okay,
So drums
cool.
and-
Well, I hope to meet you very soon, fellas. But we'll catch you on the flip. But thank you all so much for coming in. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. It's wonderful. Happy to be here.
So, how did you come across? How did you just? Oh my God, I'm going to say it. How did you stumble across the name?
Oh, let's go.
It's starting
Honestly,
already.
You're the first, so that's great. You get the credit.
Out of the gate.
Tons.
Well, at least 3 of us met in school at FAU.
Oh, okay.
We're all at the commercial music program. And then, like a lot of our peers, we ended up going to just work in a music school.
Right.
And that's where we met Ben and Cara. And
Oh,
I was
cool.
like, hey, we're friends. Let's make some money. Let's do this. And
Yeah, wicked.
yeah, for sure.
That's great. You know Corey, who works here, don't you?
Dude, Corey's a beat. Corey actually, when we first started this project before what it is now, he actually played keys with us a little bit.
He
in,
mentioned that,
previous-
yeah. It was really weird because we were just talking about it, and then he left, and like 30 seconds later, you walked in the door. It was,
Well, Corey's thing was always playing ABBA whenever.
Yes.
sounds about right.
It's a very Corey thing to do. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's got a good sense of humor, our Corey.
Aw.
So that's how that happened. What about that's what I was going to ask. How did you come to the name? Did you just say that? Oh my
That's
God,
all
you
Garrett.
say this.
I was. It's a.
I wrote a song. It's in one of the songs, and I was just like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." And I don't know that anyone else has used it. That's kind of like just
It's
the name of the
super
game
cool.
now. Well, it's just like, hey, like I made something up that no one has used anywhere. Like I can, get the socials. I can get the Spotify. Like
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do that.
There's a
And
game
it's-
called it now? No, okay, got it.
No, he was saying I mean, that's just such a huge driving factor in like calling yourself something is that like, we're dirty whatever, and there's like 20 of those already. So like,
There's more than one Killbillies.
right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's funny though, like you mentioned, social media and like websites and stuff, and I can't tell you how many times I've sat down to name something, and I actually searched the names
Yeah.
for websites first, like the podcast. We were trying to come up with something, and we came up with 2 or 3 different whatevers and names and stuff, and then somewhere along the way we came up with the 561 Music.
Yeah.
We were literally like at a Starbucks or something, and
Yeah.
I pulled out my phone and I'm on GoDaddy, and I'm like, 561music.com is available. That's the name of the podcast.
And it's crazy that it was available because
Yeah.
it's such a it just is what it is. It is what
Yeah.
it says on the tin. So I was really happy we got that.
No, it's good too. I mean, it's like says everything it needs to say. That's
Exactly.
all you can ask for. No questions after that. It's
Yeah,
like location
Except-
and what they do.
Except now they've added another area code because apparently we've outgrown 561.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Okay.
the population has outgrown the 561 area code, so there's another area code in Palm Beach County as of like 2 months ago.
Well, now it shows you're an OG because
Yeah.
you're 561. You've been here,
guess.
not the new
Exactly.
area code.
Yes.
You're established. It's good.
So have you guys what was it like when you were growing up in terms of were you encouraged to play music when you were young?
Definitely. Oh my gosh. Like more than encouraged. I, always was singing for sure. And, like being in kindergarten and doing like the little Christmas solo and all that fun, good stuff. That's
cool.
traumatic at the time.
Oh yeah, I was
and-
that as well.
Yeah.
Silent Night
oh
and
my
all
God. Yeah, exactly. So that good stuff. And then I got into theater and that was my whole track. And I majored in music theater at New World School of the Arts in Miami. And that was really great. And now I apply like whatever I can to this different environment of music, which is all basically new to me for the most part.
Right.
Like the whole band scene and how that all works. So, but my parents are very encouraging. My mom has always been like, yeah, go, yeah. Because my mom was a restaurant, so I was working there. And she's like, oh, go do that. No, go. You're like, you're fine. I'm fine. Yeah, just do your thing. Like music, go for it. Like just.
Excellent.
She's like, I'll be your agent. Whatever you need. So, I always wanted to be like, thanks, Mom, love you. But you find the passion for it, doing it on your own, of course, and like having your autonomy. And so she's very supportive, though, both my parents.
That's great. That's wonderful. What kind of music were you exposed to when you were a kid? Did your parents listen to music?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Elvis and like Roy Orbison and
cool.
all the, goodies like that.
rockabilly and
Yeah. And, some like Greek music and other random things like that because that's my
neat.
mom. And so all that good stuff. And then definitely a lot of like theater, like I mentioned, musicals, show tunes, all that.
Yeah.
So that was very influential for me. And
the Greek music's quite interesting to me. I
Yeah.
can't think of what. Can you remember any of the names of the artists?
God, no. I was so young. My mom would just be like, this is how you like do this dance. And I would like go to third grade and be like, guys, this is like the Greek sailor dance they do on the boats. And it was so bizarre. But all that, like, it's all theater. Oh, and like, turn the beat around. Like, I literally, like, I have a twin sister, and we would, like, be in our living room going, we thought it was Beatle. We would turn the beat around and, like, have a dance. So, it's, like, everywhere, and you're just around it.
That's fantastic. Yeah, just completely, you're absorbed with music through and through.
Yeah,
it's all,
definitely.
Is your sister into music as well? Or?
So we're like total opposites. I mean, we're like typical, like just opposite twins where I'm night and she's day and she's mathematical and I'm like more artsy, whatever. And
gotcha.
But
Which one
works
would you say
out.
is the evil one?
Probably me. I get the evil rap. I mean,
I wasn't gonna say it, but
I mean, she's like literally like blonde hair and like just like an angel, and I confront however, but I think I'm the more kind of like tongue-in-cheek one that's like
It's fantastic.
It works out. It's great.
So Garrett, how did you find yourself getting into music, mate? And were your parents supportive when you were young?
Yeah, they were. They probably pushed me more than I pushed myself, to be fair.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah, I probably was at like a Sam Ash or something one day, and I saw a shiny pair of sticks, and I'm like, hey, I wanna play drums, and they're like, yeah, cool, let's do that. And just kind of pushed myself, and I fell into just like loving Zeppelin. And like John Bonham, he's the GOAT. And
is there a better drummer? I don't think so.
It's hard, man.
I mean, there's more technical drummers, but he's just the sound of him is just wonderful.
His feel, I was teaching a student Moby Dick the other day, and she's like, yeah, I want to learn, verbatim the studio version. I'm like, one does not verbatim learn Moby Dick. And I'm like, let's listen to the live versions and let's learn those triplets and stuff like that,
Yeah. But it's more about playing in the style of him than
for sure.
Yeah.
Because
did he ever play it the same twice? No.
There's no way. And it's like the more you get older and you listen to it, I'm like, oh, dude, he was just stoned hitting shit with his hands.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
So is drums your first instrument?
Yeah, it's my primary. I actually play in another band with John called Rogue Theory. I play drums in that
really?
band.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
I know about Rogue Theory. That's cool.
Right on.
Yeah. So how did you find yourself playing guitar? How did that happen?
I just wanted to branch out a little bit. I don't think in today's day and age one really survives in music or the industry as just the single instrumentalist.
Indeed.
And I knew that if I wanted to be able to kind of explore more options, I needed to do that. Plus I really like kind of like in this particular project I tend to write most of the parts. So I needed to learn how to play these things. And that's.
You play anything else as well?
Like a little bit of bass, like a little bit of like enough to get by. Like there's a track that I'm doing right now that I'm like, a lap steel would sound cool on this, so I bought the cheapest lap steel I could, and I just like I learned enough just to get the track done, and that's it. But
a friend of mine just lent me his, and I've been having a lot of fun with it at home. That's so cool.
Beautiful.
Have you got like one that's how many strings is the one you got?
Oh man, I don't.
Is it one of the ones with like a million strings, or is it just like a regular guitar but set up like a steel?
I think it's like a 6-string.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's the one I've got. Well, for a little while. So Hector and I play in this band called Killbillies. One of the former members and one of the founding members, Micah Scott, he has for a while he just went through this phase of like steels, and he was so the thing in our band is we play like feet drums, and so he was there trying to hit the kick drum whilst staying steady on a lap steel. It was interesting, let me put it that way. But he did end up getting pretty good, actually, honestly. Yeah, there's a lot of fun to be had there. John, how did you get into music, mate?
If you ask my dad, it's a total accident, and it makes no sense whatsoever, because my dad's a musician. One of my favorite musicians, to be honest. He's drummer, guitar player, bass, keys.
Oh, that's awesome.
Clarinet on a bad day.
Right.
And my sister grew up doing music, singing and playing piano, and I wanted nothing to do with any of it.
Right.
I couldn't stand music. He gave me a guitar.
Just
didn't
classic
like
rebellion, like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was too cool for music. I was never cool. In high school, I liked hip hop in high school, and Lil Jon and Trick Daddy came out with that Ozzy sample for Crazy Train.
Yeah.
And let's go, and all that. At the very end, they have the little Randy Rhoads intro part. And I got all excited. 16-year-old kid ran up to my dad. Dad, what is this? And he just turned red in the face, and he goes, "That's a fucking guitar." And he goes up and he gets a little guitar that's dusty he bought me when I was 8 and threw it at me. And then I started playing.
Yeah, wow.
So I literally accidentally stumbled into music. It kind of hit me in the head. But that's how it started. And then it never stopped. Like I heard that transferred into like metal and like Linkin Park type stuff, because hip hop and rock kind of nice little blend.
Yeah.
I saw one of their DVDs where they played it in front of like 40,000 people. I was like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah,
That's it. I got nothing else in me. That's it.
Yeah.
And then it never stopped.
Yeah, fantastic. Awesome. So do you play any, is it like mainly guitar for you?
Yeah. I fake a lot of other things. Like where Garrett says like he like learns enough to get by. I don't learn enough. I just try it, and then like I'll sing sometimes when we do the full band stuff, and I was looking at Cara like, are these the right notes? And she's just like, sure.
I mean, they're not the wrong notes.
They're notes.
Interpretation.
They're on the scale.
Yeah.
They're on a scale somewhere. But so I play primarily guitar and bass pretty well. Drums, I can play it enough to teach a small child who doesn't play any drums.
Yeah.
And then piano, I can play like one song pretty well, which I just bother him with all the time. I play Pink Floyd.
It's the same song.
Yeah,
every time.
and that's all I've got.
I tell the students, I'm like, this is the one song you can play.
Yeah. Hey, but I'm good at it.
But as long as you play it really well.
Just that one song. That's
Right.
all I've got. Yeah.
Right? When you're just like, you're hanging out somewhere and there happens to be a piano in the corner, you just sit down and belt it out. People are like, holy shit,
check it out,
this
gang.
guy rocks.
And what else can you play? No. And then you do like Heart
And
and
then you're
Soul.
like,
That costs money.
oh yeah, no, I got something else. Hang on, I'm gonna go get a drink. And
Yeah,
then just bolt.
Never come back.
So, did you guys all have like instrumental lessons? Did you end up having guitar lessons, John?
So I tried, and I was not into it. I did all of high school, no lessons. And then out of high school, I wanted to major in music. My parents, God bless them, were super supportive of it.
Yeah.
And I failed the audition like 4 times because I never did any lessons. I couldn't read. I had no idea that jazz even had guitar in it.
Right.
And that's what they wanted. And I couldn't do any of it. So I failed the audition every semester for 2 years.
Gotcha.
Until I finally got in the commercial music program with Garrett at FAU. And then I got lessons there. And that's when I started. And the teacher there, shout out to Mr. Okubo, if he's still even like in Florida. But he saw me the first day and was like, oh, we have to like reteach you everything because you are a mess.
Right.
And so thank God I got lessons, because I don't think I would have gotten any better than I was. But yeah, so I got lessons just really, really late.
Got it.
Yeah.
Did you get drum lessons when you were younger, Garrett?
Yeah, I did up all the way up through high school.
Yeah.
Did a little bit of marimba and timpani as well.
I gotcha.
Yeah, so yeah, kind of just like the same with him. Like I went to a fantastic instructor, and he told my mom, he's like, he could go play in cover bands and that would be cool, but like anything beyond that, like he is not great.
Right.
Which I think is like the best thing that could have been told to me at that point in time. And it really pushed me, and he was just like, you need to expand what you're listening to, and because I was like 17, I'm like, oh, it's fucking punk and metal and shit, and then he's like, no, let's check out like King Crimson or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
And so it was cool.
Sounds like a good guy.
Yeah, for sure. He's awesome.
So how many of you guys are currently teaching music now?
All of
All of us, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Look at that. We've got 4 music teachers at the table.
I know. It's good. It keeps you like
you're
on
the
your
lucky
toes.
one.
You don't-
Yeah. What's that like?
I know about this much music theory. So.
Nice.
I gotcha.
You can probably
He's like
get by without it.
he's like a natural musician,
I
though. It
just-
comes out of his balls.
I just play.
There you go.
I mean, that's honestly like that's way more interesting to me anyway. Like someone who like absorbs music like a language as opposed to like a classroom is really cool.
Yeah.
I can't do that, so that's always just like
Oh, these
I
guys-
sit back and I watch it and I go, whoa.
These guys are hilarious, though, man. Like we'll sit there and like work on a song, and Ben and James, the other guy in the band, they're like, that's a D sus 7 diminished, and I'm like, so it's a D.
Yeah,
I
pretty
know
much.
some of what you're saying.
So no.
I ended up doing a music degree as well. I've got a degree. It's just called music, like a B-Mus. That's what I've got.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's good to have it be vague because you're like, music major.
Yeah.
Look.
I majored in music.
It was pretty good though. I did a lot of like history. There was a composition module. There was like recording modules and stuff like that. I had a lot of fun there. Learned tons. All the classic stuff like having to learn how to arrange Haydn string quartets and all that kind of stuff.
And then you never use it.
Yeah.
It's like first and last time you see it.
Yeah, totally. I'm trying to think if I ever used my arranging stuff that I learned at university. I don't think I have. I think when I've done it, I've just like done it on a computer, like in Logic or something.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have like a tool. It's like, oh no, don't worry, I'll do that for you.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, and you're like
That's the
sick. Love
Totally.
it.
Except I did learn some useful things, like don't like double the thirds and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I did learn a few things out of it.
It's always exciting when you like make that connection every once in a while. Of like, yeah, I know that. I learned that for some reason. It is.
That's the way round it happens.
Right.
It's like I'll be doing something or maybe explaining something to a student and then I'll be like, oh yeah, we did that at university as well.
Right.
But like I will have got that from another route,
Literally.
Yeah. It's cool though. It gave me a little bit of time to, find musicians and to sort of find myself in many ways. That's what I think the best part
That's what
about
it's
getting to
for.
university is. Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, all the bizarre things that are happening, like in and around what you're learning and the experiences. I mean, theater school is just like a whole other, level. But yeah, I mean, that was the point for me. It's like all the struggling and other things are like, okay, this is what it's for. Okay, bring it on. Great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I pretty much met all the people I ended up playing with for 10 years.
Yeah,
In
networking.
and around that time, and they weren't on the same course as me, but they were at the same university. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's for.
So, how much have you guys written at this point? Where are you at in terms of?
That's the hot seat, man.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
turn to
yeah,
Garrett.
yeah.
writing.
Where are you at in terms of
Go
your
ahead.
body of work with Stumble Steady?
Oh man, just like everyone else, there's like 1,000 voice memos in my phone of just incomplete stuff, and it tends to be a relatively quick process if something's gonna work or not. So I'll sit down. It's like if I'm 10 tracks into a session and it's just not flowing, I'm like, this song's not gonna work,
Right.
unless it's like just a fantastic hook that I'll put in my back pocket.
Yeah.
So in terms of like solid done finished demos or release songs, it's probably close to like 20 to 30 songs with
Right on.
literally like I said, thousands of hooks just waiting to be produced.
Yeah,
to be
wicked,
fair.
man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. The stuff that I was listening to this last week, I was really impressed by it.
Yeah.
It just sounds great. You guys have got a really interesting sound, and it's poppy, but it's not cheesy. It's great.
Yeah.
I think you're doing a great job in it.
Good. That's not what we want. Is the cheese.
Yeah. It just, then there's a sophistication to the songwriting that is definitely, I noticed for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, do you have a songwriting process?
Not really. I find that every song is kind of different. The best songs are the ones that just flow and they're
Sure.
super easy. I typically just tend to hooks or motifs come to me first.
Yeah.
I'll write those down and then I'll find the chords that accompany them. Once I put that into it, I'm like, okay, so the source material, or at least the melody, where is that leading me in terms of arrangement? Like, what kind of mood does the song need to have? And then after that, it's like, okay, is this song going to be upbeat? Is it a little bit more downtrodden? And it just becomes, everything's just a reflection of itself.
Sure.
So it changes every time. So, if it's like a super easy acoustic song, it's like, it's done in 3 hours. If it's like the last song that we just released, Memory or After, that took me maybe like a year just to get it done. Right. And all in all, it was like 120 something tracks. And Lorenzo opened up the file and he's like, "Oh, fuck that."
That's great. So yeah. when you're writing, are you sort of essentially sort of producing it as you write it?
A little bit. I typically will have the chords and melodies and the majority of the lyrics ready to go, just like a skeleton of a song. And then I'll just sit on Logic, with my MIDI controller and just put things in. And depending on if it's like more indie rock, then I'm like, okay, cool. I'll just go to Power Station, switch out those drums. But I try to do everything as much as I can in box, just because it just costs way less.
Yeah.
Just expedite the process,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's I've done that with many projects, is get it like 90% of the way there myself. And then just like you said, I've been, I've sent drums to Power Station and I just have them mix them and just make them sound amazing, and then they send them back,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's worked great for me with the No Name Scar Band stuff. That worked just fantastically. It elevated the recording like crazy, because getting a really good drum sound is probably the most challenging thing in a small studio, in a basic studio. But with it, if you just send it to them and they put it through all their nice, like their Neve and everything, and put all the nice stuff, it definitely makes it sound amazing. So, have you done a lot of recording in studios, or is 90% of it out your house?
I'd say a solid 70 to 80% is at my place or John's place, because he has a fractal, so it's just like sick. Like, let's get those tones, like John's time. Like, so I'll just find like the 1 hour like out of the week that he has available. I'm like, hey, we're gonna play video games? Fuck you, we're tracking.
That's literally what happens.
I believe it.
Yeah. So most of it's done, in box, whether it be, stock stuff or like splice or contact, anything like that. And then, guitars and bass at his place. And then if we do live track drums, that'll be like Power Station, and vocals at Power Station. And
gotcha. You do the vocals there too.
For the most part, there's been a couple that I've done at the house, because it's just like, wow, these actually don't sound terrible. All right, cool.
Right,
yeah, I'm just going to.
It kind of serves like the thing he goes for anyway. Sometimes just having it be a little less perfect and more like,
it's like
we're
a
little rougher.
We always talk about like how I'm talking about how hard it is to actually intentionally make your thing sound shitty. Like, that's the new aesthetic,
it's
like
hard.
hyperpop. Yeah, it's just like there's a bad way to make it sound shitty, but to make it good shitty, that's next level.
It sounds
shitty
when you don't want it to sound shitty. And it sounds good when you want it to sound shitty.
Exactly.
Getting it just rough enough. It's an art form. No doubt about it.
Now, with you writing and everything, are you pretty much bringing everything to the table, like, okay guys, here's your parts, or are you having any input from the other band members on anything?
For the most part, it's definitely like, I feel like a Trent Reznor, Billy Corgan thing, which is like not a good thing, to be fair. But like, so for
those two insane people.
For me, this really started as a cathartic project, because I had been playing drums in so many bands, and there's this stigma that as a drummer, like, you don't understand like theory and how to communicate with people. So I had to, So I had to learn.
I don't.
proving his point, basically.
I had to learn that, and in doing so, I'm like, okay, well, if it seems relatively easy to do, like, I'm going to do it, and so because it's a cathartic process, this is my project where I'm like, okay, like, I'm going to kind of do what I want. I don't have to be kind of subservient. So like, if we're writing with Rogue, it's like, cool, I know my place. I'm going to do that. Stumble, it's like, okay, I'm going to do kind of whatever I want to do. Sure. Besides bass lines, I'm terrible at writing bass lines. Like, I'll produce a track and then like it's released, they'll be like, hey, by the way, this doesn't make sense. Like, oh, cool, thanks.
There you go.
So it's kind of just one of those things where, I'll bring it to the table. The demo is produced, and if something doesn't feel quite right or someone has a better idea, like, we'll do that. So like, Cara has written a number of harmonies and counter melodies for the songs, and those end up in the track. Or like John wrote a solo for a specific song, those end up in the track. and it's like, like if there's a little bit of wiggle room to experiment, like Nat will kind of fuck around on bass and come up with something. So
yeah,
So the songs are pretty ready, but if somebody has some input and whatever, like you're open to it.
For sure.
Quite frankly, sometimes having someone where the buck stops at them can be useful, because otherwise you can just spend hours and hours going around in circles and arguing, So in a way, I could see how that'd be a useful thing, especially if you're sort of driven, motivated, and really doing it, and not just kind of like holding up the process. Like.
Yeah, because like when it's just me sitting in my room making these decisions, it's like, bam, it's done.
Yeah. That's cool. I think with Killbillies these days, we're definitely sort of more open than that and sharing ideas. But I've done projects where I've just sort of driven the bus with it. To be honest with you, for me that doesn't really work very well. I really thrive off that kind of like back and forth. That just works really well for me.
Gotcha.
No, but I totally get why you're doing it like that, and I think it's admirable. And I've some personal friends who are kind of doing that right now, and I think it's a cool way to write. In terms of your social media presence, do you have any kind of anything to say about that? Who runs all of that?
It's me right now, but like I'm trying to get some help. Everyone's just so busy.
He's trying very hard to get some help on that.
Everyone's living their lives.
Well, I actually know a lady who might be able to help. So we'll talk about that afterwards.
Please.
Yeah.
Because that's just the name of the game, especially with kind of the indie pop alternative genre that we're going through. I think we need to kind of play a few more original shows, kind of get that organic fan base going as well a little bit. But yeah, for sure. It's like you're on TikTok, you get something that has like multi-thousand hits. You're like, awesome, and then the next day it's like 23 views, and you're like, awesome.
Yeah. We had this huge sort of influx of views on our YouTube channel at one point where we just must have got picked up by a bot. I know that some of them were a bunch of them were real people, but then a bunch of them weren't too. I think it was just somehow we got picked up by a bot and then dropped by the bot.
Yeah, we literally went to like 20, 30, 40,000 views every week.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden it just went back to our normal flat line.
Strange.
Yeah, it was strange, but that happens. Life goes on. For a second there, we thought we were like movie stars.
It'll go back.
The algorithm,
you just got to say something like Nicolas Cage, and now we can tag him in the episode, right?
It's really, you got to finesse the system like so much. I mean, like, on TikTok, you put like a random ass sound like in your video, and it could be like muted, but like if it's there, it's gonna like show up over there, and it's just
really?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's a whole thing. It's we're not good at it.
TikTok, it's like TikTok is like this fucking rabbit hole, man.
Yeah.
It is, but
I hate it because I get sucked into it, and I'm like, it's like, fuck, stop.
Oh, you've been watching middle-aged women doing weird dances for like 3 hours.
We send each other cringe all the time. It's so fucking great.
I quasi crack the code if you take like a popular show and you showcase like how mental illness fits into it. Like I found like this perfect example of OCD and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and it blew up. You're just like, OCD is XYZ, and they're like, oh, fucking Sunny, yeah. And
two hot button things. And
right.
That's all you gotta do.
That's smart. Yeah, I'm gonna have a think about that. Yeah. It's actually pretty awesome. When it comes to your personal instruments, like when you're at home, are you guys still practicing? Like, do you still practice singing?
I go home and I'm like, time to shut up and lay down. I mean, like, if I know that I'm really struggling, actually, maybe it's not in my house necessarily, but in my car, I'm like belting my face off all the time. So for no goddamn reason. But I hate feeling unprepared. So if there's something that I'm not doing well with or I need to work on, I'm self-aware and I will work on it.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to like pick up the keys a little bit here because it's kind of just like, it's just such a necessity with the stuff he writes. It's so good, and it really would like just level everything up. So I'm trying to come through and like do that because I can manage it if I try.
Well, the good thing about keys is you can do some really difficult things on there, but if you just want to put some like a layer in, it's not that difficult.
No, exactly. So that would be where my efforts are gonna probably start going soon. I mean, we're literally sitting right there, and I was like, you know what? When I come back from this trip I'm about to go on for a couple days, keys galore. I got you. Don't worry.
What do you guys normally do? Like, I know listening to your stuff, the recorded stuff, there is, a certain element of keys in some of these songs and things. Like, what do you guys do for your live shows now, currently?
I do my best. And then I asked Garrett, was that good? And he goes, eh. And
lots of pedals, basically.
Yeah, the fractal I normally use, I'm a very like old school, like I just want, my clean, my distortions, whatever in the middle, and nice basic analog effects. And then I have a whole nother patch that's called the Keeler Squealer, based after him. And it's just the most ridiculous amounts of reverb. And reverse delays. And chorus on top of flanger on top of a phaser, which doesn't make sense because they're literally opposites. And it's just I was asking him, how's this? And he goes, Yeah,
well, it's weird.
Yeah. But yeah, so
okay, cool.
I was thinking when you were talking about the keys, actually, because all I'm playing on acoustic is the keys parts that he has written. And I'm like, I don't know if these sound great, just not without every possible sound on it. If Cara learns keys, I will be part of the next performance.
Be the hero, I guess. Save the band.
For the band?
Yeah.
For the band?
We might not need you, John. I don't know.
That's all right.
You know what, John, seeing as we were just talking to you, do you still practice guitar?
I teach so often right now. I feel like that's my practice.
You know what?
And that's a horrible excuse because it does not get me any better.
You know what I do is I show up like a little bit early, and I'll spend like half an hour, 45 minutes practicing. Not every day, but I do it quite a lot of days.
So I try to do that, and at the job we all work together, I really wish I had time to do that because the guy next door to me, I used to be a better guitar player than the guy next to me. Yeah. And that dude practices at every second he gets while I'm like going and talking to parents or setting up stuff for the kids. And now like, a year and a half later sitting next to him, I'm like, holy shit, this guy fucking shreds. And he's like all over the map doing like polyphia shit and all that. I'm like, I haven't learned a new thing in years. The newest thing I've learned is like the stuff he shows me that he writes. And, as like a metalhead and like someone who really paid a lot of attention to theory and all that, I'm like, this stuff's really simple, but like the stuff he writes actually really cool. Yeah. And it's like really outside of what I would write for myself. And it's like, this is actually really interesting. It's really catchy.
Yeah.
And so that's my new type of practice is like, don't be closed-minded and really like allow someone else to like let you know, like, here, try this for this genre of music that you don't play normally.
Yeah, right.
And that's my version of practicing right now.
Well, not being closed-minded is, that I feel like it's a practice. It's not a decision. It's like a kind of everyday remind yourself to know,
Yeah, no, for real. That's absolutely true.
Yeah, man. What about you, Gary? You practice?
Kind of in the same boat as him. If I got a tracking session coming up or a big show, like we did Sunfest a couple months ago, it's like I practice for that every day. Or like I practiced with the lead guitarist. I play with the lead guitarist for Lady A, and he's just a super jazz cat, and I'm like, I don't know any of this. So every day for like 2 months, I went into practice for that. That's the most I practiced in like 10 years.
Yeah, right on.
But yeah.
Did you have any of the kids like learn any of the songs for Sunfest? Because I taught kids our songs we were doing for Sunfest so I could practice them.
No,
that's how I practice. Hey, there's a new song you're gonna learn.
There's a person who will remain nameless who used to do that. He used to learn the songs for the band he was in, like on a regular, like when he'd come into work. So you're not I'm not going to say who it is. But yeah, all right, on the subject of learning songs, why don't you play some of these songs that you've been teaching your kids?
Oh, cool. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Actually, I did. We had house band auditions at school a little while ago, and one of our students came in and played one of our songs.
That's amazing.
I was like, wow, that's really awesome. You got it all wrong, but that was really awesome.
All right, let's get to it.
Let's do it.
Thank you, I've lost weight. It's the hurry. Do you worry about your chances you might waste. This depression is in session, and I don't wanna be alone right now. Always slipping under covers, lost the night in all your wonders. Please don't let me be alone right now. Yeah, yeah. Don't need me right now. Yeah, yeah. Don't need me right now. And thank you for this space, empty and quite lovely somehow. It always seems to break, but keeps moving, always choosing. No, oh, oh, oh. I see you in my corner, my love, you know I adore you. It's just these feelings are strong, my head is a bone, gonna explode, yeah. They make it sound so easy, brush out things they tell me. Gotta be strong, gotta be strong, gotta be strong, and I'm not. Always slipping under covers, lost the light in all your wonders. Please don't let me be alone right now. Yeah, yeah. Don't need me right now. Yeah, yeah. Don't need me right now. Never asked for this, but ain't it something? I hope my sadness brings some enjoyment. It's all a little crazy. We keep running, maybe we'll find some enjoyment in this disappointment. Yeah, yeah. Always pulling up your covers, lost the light in all your wonders. I don't think I need my head right now. Yeah, yeah. Don't need me right now. Don't need me right now, right now, right now, right now. Don't need me right now. And here we go on the run again, running fast from a dead end. You've got those eyes that make me so knocked down, but I can't lose. I'll fall right into you. A thousand nights can feel so small. What can you do? What will you say to change with me? We're getting pretty back down. It's time to turn this thing around. Come on, baby, let's go get some action. Come on, man, it's time for reaction. Don't let it bring you down, and everything that's lost and rebound. Come on, baby, forget the distractions. Come on, man, it's time for reaction. She says, I've got a question, I'm feeling so much tension. I wanna leave, it's in my soul. She says, I'm tired of paying for all the games we're playing. Forget the rules, we'll make our own. Can you please talk to me? We're getting pretty back down. It's time to turn this thing around. Come on, baby, let's go get some action. Come on, baby, it's time for reaction. Don't let it break distractions. Come on, man, it's time for reaction. The other night I had a dream that we were somewhere driving. The earth collapsed and as we laughed, I saw that we were flying. When I woke up, I saw that the rain was coming down. Then I remembered it's always sunny above the clouds. We can be back down. It's time to turn this thing around. Come on, baby, let's go get some action. Come on, man, it's time for reaction. Don't let it bring you down, and everything that's lost will rebound. Come on, baby, forget the distractions. Come on, man, it's time for reaction. Hey, oh, hey, oh, 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 hey, oh, hey, oh, 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 oh.
.561 Music is brought to you by Handlebars Bar and Grill. It's a biker bar in Tequesta, and if you're driving up US 1, you come across it on the right-hand side. It's a little bar there. It's bright yellow. You can't miss it with the handlebars on the sign. And it has a long and storied history. It's been there. It used to be called Judy's, and it was run by this guy Victor, who sadly passed this year, R.I.P. Victor. And then my father-in-law took it over, and he's doing a great job up there. There is a bike night every second Thursday of the month, and there is a jam every fourth Sunday of the month. If you're interested in that kind of thing, it's just an all-inclusive, any kind of music, any style, any ability type of a jam. And there's great beers on tap, and they're wonderful food. Burnsy, the chef, does a fantastic job. If you're interested in classic cars or classic bikes, there's always that kind of stuff hanging around there. It attracts that sort of a crowd because it's called Handlebars Bar and Grill, so it makes sense. And yeah, you should come swing by. It's definitely a local spot and has a lot of character. And there's people who have been going there for decades and decades. It's one of those places that's a part of the furniture in Tequesta, and you should definitely come check it out. I booked the music for the place and love doing it, and I was a part of helping set the place up, and I'm a huge fan. And you should, anyone who is interested in biker bars, or even if you've just never been to one and you're curious about what a biker bar is about, you should go and check out Handlebars Bar and Grill. We are also sponsored by Oasis Root. Now, Oasis Root Kava Bar is in Sea Grape Square on Indiantown Rd, and it is a kava bar. If you don't know anything about kava, it's a Polynesian root that you grind up and you mix with water. And it has been in Polynesia for potentially thousands of years. It's an old thing that they used for kind of ceremonial and also sort of leisure purposes. It's meant to be something where, that brings people together. You all take a shell of kava and chink them together and say bula and have it together like that. It's meant to be something to bring people together. It's has a kind of an effect, which is, I guess, a kind of a slightly warming effect. It just kind of makes you feel nice. It's not particularly intoxicating. It's not like drinking alcohol. So the atmosphere in a kava bar is sort of like a cross between a regular bar and a coffee house. It's pretty chill in there. You get all sorts of different types of kava bars. Some of them are more like a club, there's sort of like blacklight and EDM playing, and some of them are more like a cafe. This is one of the cafe type of ones. It's super chill in there. If you're looking for somewhere to, I don't know, maybe go and do some work on your laptop or go and have a chat with friends, it's perfect for that kind of thing. There's a foosball table in there if that's your jam, or baby-foot as they call it in France. And yeah, Jim, the owner, is a really cool guy, and he has very kindly sponsored our podcast. So thank you very, very much for that, Jim. They also do a poker night in there, all sorts of things going on at Oasis Root Kava Bar. 561 Music is brought to you by Live Music Community. It's the place that we're recording this podcast in right now. It is a school, but it's also a recording studio and a live streaming venue, and we can do all sorts of different things here. If you have any kind of project that you're trying to get off the ground, then we can film you and help you put together an EPK and record a demo for you. We can even record, full albums if you want. We have all the resources here. We have a green screen so you can do interesting music videos and stuff like that, and some great equipment, some really nice Blackmagic cameras and proper recording equipment. But really the thrust of the place is that it is a school. So the main thing that we do is help young musicians from as young as 5 to really all the way through to adults, but we focus mainly on the young people, and we help them learn what it's like to be in a band. So we get them together and teach them individual lessons, but also in groups. And when we teach them in the groups, it's not just a question of teaching them how to play a whole load of covers. We help them learn how to write their own songs. We encourage them to make merchandise. We teach them of the things that could go wrong when they're at a gig, and all of the little things that you wouldn't necessarily think of that go into what it's like being in a band and how to be a band and how to be professional. And it's great. We've seen great success with these kids. They play fantastically, and I think not only is it a good thing for people who want to be in a band, just the life skills that go along with it in terms of working as a team and the courage to stand up in front of people to do something are invaluable. And we see these kids grow into amazing young adults. We've had a wonderful time doing this and really enjoy it. Justin, who runs the place, Justin Hucker, is a really inspirational leader of young people, I have to say, and I really enjoy seeing him work with them, and I'm proud to be one of his members of staff. We have it's Yaz and me and Justin and Mike Scott and Corey and Ryan are currently the members of the team, and we cover all the instruments. A few of us are multi-instrumentalists, and then we have Ryan, who pretty much focuses directly on drums. We've got pretty much everything across the board when it comes to teaching you how to be in a band, teaching you how to play your instrument, and yeah, so that's Live Music Community. Come by and check us out. We are at 9091 North Military Trail, number 8, and it's Palm Beach Gardens, Florida 33410. So if you're heading from West Palm Beach north on Military Trail, as soon as you go past North Lake on your left, just tuck into the first little plaza there on your left, and it's in the corner. Come and see us. If you just want to come and have a look around, we're open from about 2 p.m. to about around 8 or 9 or most days of the week, and then there's usually someone hanging around here on weekends too. So anytime you want to swing by, just come and see us, or if you want to give us a call, look us up online, just write Live Music Community and all of our details are there. The number is 561-951-6902. All right, thank you very much.
All right, guys, that was really great. And seeing as we were just talking about Live Music Community, do you think you could do you have any advice for young musicians or young bands who are just starting out?
I'll start, I guess.
Okay.
Well, for me, it's just about holding yourself accountable. I think it's kind of really easy to get thrown, especially now by like social media and like, oh, this person, like they just like went viral and this and that. But, don't get deterred or thrown by anything. Just be very, self-assured and do your due diligence. I think that, in general, people are very much able to convince themselves that, like, it'll happen. It's going to happen. I mean, for me, when I graduated college, I was like, now what? Somebody's going to tell me what to do now, right? But if you're just on top of yourself and making sure that you are practicing, you are putting yourself out there, you are doing your research, I mean, that's all you really have control over anyway. Yeah. And so if you do those things really, really well, it tends to really pay off for you, and it'll make you feel confident too, and it'll build the other things that matter. So
no, that's good advice. And one of the things that that I learned in sort of in therapy and stuff like that is that because I was a big procrastinator, still can be occasionally, and I found that if you just do the next right thing. You know, just like, what's the next thing I got to do?
Incremental little steps. I mean, they
Exactly,
get you very far. Like, you know, very typical things of like, what's your like 1 month goal, and then what's your year goal, and what's your 5-year goal, and like what steps are you going to take to, you know, achieve those goals. I mean, all the cliches are true, basically. Just understand that if somebody comes up to you and is like, oh, you don't got to do that thing that everybody else did that got them there, like, yeah, it's just trust your gut, do the work, and just, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What about you, Garrett? Have you got any advice?
Yeah, keep the ambition, keep the drive, keep the fun. I feel like there's so many times where, like, realistically, I'm like, just like, I hate music. I don't want to do it anymore. And then, you know, we'll play an awesome show, or I'll write a great song. I'm like, wow, this is it. And just understand that everything's a learning experience. You know, like, we continue to fail every single day, every single time, but you learn from that, and that's an awesome thing. Also, like, don't be a pushover. Like, don't back down. There, like, everyone's gonna try to screw you at some point. Like, you're gonna meet assholes and shit. And
that took me a long time, you know, to be able to stand up to people. You know, I'm a really non-confrontational person, and that's something I've got better at over the years. But it's a difficult thing. If you're not that kind of person already, it's a difficult thing to learn, you know, to stand up for yourself.
Well, for me, it was just like, okay, like I did a job. As soon as this became a job, it's like, oh no, like I had one guy who's like, hey, I want you guys just come jam. I'm like, awesome, what's the pay? And he's like, we're just looking for people to have fun. I'm like, cool, what's the pay? And he's like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll see you later. Because it's a job. It's like, it's not only the time, money, and effort that, you know, I put into this. It's also the time, effort, and money that my parents put into this. It's like the same things that, you know, everyone, you know, around me that believes in what we're doing is doing. So you deserve to be compensated for that. You know?
100%.
It's funny. I've had this conversation with Ben probably about 10,000 times. You know, again, besides a musician, I'm an artist, and same, you know, parallel universe, if you will, where, you know, people come and say, you know, can you just paint this real quick for me or whatever, and it's like, well, what's the pay? Well, it's great exposure, and it's like, I don't do that. You know, and people don't get it. Like, they're not paying, you know, they're not paying you for your hourly wage, your hourly time. They're paying you for, you know, all the years of training, all the knowledge, all the, you know, all the experience, all the talent. You know, these are all things that you're bringing to the table, and it's not just hourly. If it was hourly, it'd be $10 an hour. You know, and it's not. Or at least it shouldn't be.
Yeah, absolutely. John, have you got anything to add?
I got just a couple of things. So one we talked about before, don't pigeonhole yourself. Be open to outside ideas and really dive into everything you possibly can, regardless of what kind of another thing is I had great answers. And now they're gone.
Oh no, that's
they took your answers. Didn't
they? No.
That's why I just got really. Do you have anything to add? Because I knew it was like, I got to go after these two people.
Yeah, seriously. But another one, and this is something I got from a good friend of mine who's a band leader in the other band we play in, is the joy's in the work. Making it is not making it; it's doing all the steps on the way to making it. It's making it. The goals are. It's not that the show leads to. A record deal, that's not the other, the show. It's all about like the thing that you really cared about from the beginning.
The journey.
Keep caring about that thing. If you stop caring about that thing, then that's when things become worse and they get rough and people start having issues.
Absolutely.
But it's really annoyingly superficially about the music first. And so that's one of my biggest things I got to remind myself a lot, is that this hard part is the fun part.
That's another thing that Ben's always reminding me of, you know, and we've talked about it on the podcast a lot, that, you know, there's this there's stigma or notion, I guess, of what making it really is, and making it is not necessarily, you know, I have a record deal and I'm touring the planet, you know.
Right.
I mean, I would consider Ben as having made it, and, you know, he's got a couple albums, etc. But essentially, his day job is he's teaching music, and his night job is he goes out and he plays music. And so his entire life revolves around music, and he's making money, and he's making a living, and he's happy. That's making it.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
You know, that's making it.
Yeah, that's what I tell myself anyway.
We're all telling you too, man, because we're all there together.
How does it feel? It's different for everyone too. I feel like the moment you try to compare, I mean, you're just never gonna be able to hold yourself to the same standard as anyone else. There's so many
when I get my
variables.
record deal, I'm gonna totally rub it in his face.
Right.
Absolutely. But other than that,
We're gonna hold up a sign that says "I made it."
then I made it.
Until then,
You know that making it thing? No, everything I said was rubbish. I
I made it now.
For sure.
Yeah. So, could you tell us a little bit about what those two songs are about, Garrett?
I always forget what they're about. It's kind of just the lyrics are a stream of consciousness, and it's kind of one of those things where this is how I justify it to myself is like, okay, something came out, and then I'll be playing it 2 months later. I'm like, oh, that's what that's about. Cool.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
So Don't Need Me actually kind of flowed, and it was kind of more of a conscious effort. It's just kind of wanting to detach from yourself for just a little bit. It's like I am just so feeling this terrible right now. If there's any way I could just, not be myself for just a moment. But there's always kind of like, this is the awful part. My mom, she was an English teacher growing up. So, when you had to write your essays and the first paragraph is like, okay, it's your point of view. And then the second paragraph is, oh, here's the differing point of view. And then the third paragraph is like, why is that point of view wrong? I feel like a lot of my songs are like that. The first verse is like, this is why, like, this is the subject. Second verse, oh, here's the opposing part of the subject. And then the ending is like, okay, here's how we come a little bit full circle.
Sure.
Yeah.
The conclusion.
Yeah.
Introduction,
yeah.
Conclusion, yeah.
Who said you'd never use that again?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's just kind of, and at the bridge, at least, it's kind of just this angry acceptance of, okay, this is it,
Right.
and it's like, okay, well, once you come to that conclusion, you have a choice to, kind of either push through and do it or not. And it's just like, okay, well, it's what I'm going to begrudgingly push through.
Yeah, right on.
The second one, I think, is just kind of about, just being stagnant, especially like with a partner. There's times you just kind of fall into a routine or process and you're like, we got to shake it up. And then after that, it becomes, a double meaning of like, all the pressures of the world and what's happening right now, it just all kind of comes crushing down on you, and you have the choice to once again just accept it or to push back and give a reaction and do something different.
No, I find myself writing on similar subjects as well, and kind of it being both personal and general at the same time. It's definitely something that I fall back on lyrically and in my songwriting style. It's like it's about something, but it's about something bigger than that at the same time.
Exactly. Those are the best songs.
Layers of the onion. Yeah, that's awesome. What have you got coming up, guys? Is there anything that we should know about?
So right now we're doing just a lot of production, a lot of behind the scenes stuff, just like accruing a ton of content. But I think we got a master back for Reaction, the second song that we're doing tonight.
Cool.
And then I'm trying my hand at mixing and mastering a couple songs right now, just because it's like they're relatively short, and it's like if I can do it and not spend money to do it, then I'm going to do that. So we're going to probably be releasing 2 to 3 over kind of like fall and winter.
Nice.
And this, the goal is just to release, like at least a collection of 3 to 5 songs every couple months. So lots of songs. We're going to be booking some shows and just pushing forward, growing social numbers and getting out there.
Wicked. Is there any shows on the horizon?
No. There 100% will be. It's just I'm getting married in a couple months. So thank you very much. So that's kind of been,
and my condolences.
She's awesome. So yeah, that's kind of been, the priority. So balancing that as well as getting this done as well as other projects as well as work and stuff. So I'm sure that we're going to have release shows for these songs.
If we have any advice for you for mixing and mastering, and I'm sure Ben will agree, when you get it to where you think it's good, set it aside and don't listen to it for like 3 weeks. Sure. and then go back and listen to it and go, crap. Seriously.
For sure.
Seriously. We're gonna get our album mastered probably probably by somebody else, but Ben's been doing all the mixing for our album. We actually just came back from tour a few weeks ago, and we were up at Sun Studios in Memphis.
Sick.
We recorded everything up there.
Nice.
Ben's been mixing, but we keep telling him, he keeps sending us mixes, and it's like, each one's a little bit better, and he takes the advice and the pointers and things we tell him, and then he goes back and he takes the notes and he tweaks it and whatever, and he keeps sending it, but we tell him, like, take a week off. Don't listen to it.
Yeah.
Don't listen to it. Just take a week off, because you can't. I mean, you're too close to it, and you keep listening to it. Your ears are just gonna get tired.
Yeah.
And there's just some point where you just got to stop. You're like, cool, it's as good as it's gonna get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who told us once a song is never finished; it's only abandoned.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
There's some truth in that.
New life motto.
There's some truth in that.
Yeah, definitely. With all works of art, I would say, unless you're some kind of savant who just nails it.
Right.
And now you guys actually just released a single not too long ago, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
That was Memory After. It was what month is it? September. Yeah. We released it in August.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of.
And there's a video for it as well, right?
Yeah. We're chilling at the beach, having a good time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Classic Florida sea grapes.
For
and
sure.
stuff.
Yeah.
That was kind of the goal and dichotomy of the song, is that it's on the one hand it's like really kind of happy and upbeat, and then the lyrics are just the complete antithesis of that.
Yeah.
And so we're like, cool, let's be moody at the beach. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I get it now. I love that. Yeah. Cool. So in terms of us, we've got DAS, D-A-S, which is in Abacoa coming up on Friday the 9th. We're there from 7 to 10. And then James and I are playing from 4 to 7 at Guanabanas in Jupiter on Saturday. Yeah, and then that's it for this weekend. We got a light weekend.
I took the weekend off.
We forgot. So I have a restaurant with my sister. It's great. 2nd Street Bagels and Deli. Come on by in Boca Raton. But we're trying to kind of see if we can facilitate a little mini gig in there.
Oh, nice.
Move everything to the side. So that will hopefully be sometime in October.
Probably
November?
closer to November.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we'll
for
keep
sure.
everyone posted.
Is that a full band or a duo?
Full band.
Nice.
Yeah,
We're gonna
full
squeeze
band
everyone
ideally.
in.
Yeah.
We're not sure if the whole band can fit in
Yeah,
just a
we're
restaurant
gonna-
on its own, but we're gonna make it happen.
It sounds cool. I love those kind of gigs.
We'll be flipping
Yeah.
burgers at the same time or
Yeah.
something, and just whatever. But it seems like a cool idea.
Wicked. Well, you guys are a wonderful band, very nice people, and we are honored to have had you on the show. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so
Thank
much for having
you.
us.
Yeah, wicked.
And everybody that's listening and watching, as usual, like and subscribe. The subscribe button is, I don't know, somewhere over by Ben here, up there, down here, somewhere. Like, subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so that we can monetize the channel. We use all that money to buy Ben his Mercedes-Benz. No, we need the money because we, as we're actually just discussing on the break, talking about 561 Music Festival for next year. We actually just talked to Dave over at Matthews Brewing, and he has it all locked in for April 2nd. So we have the date.
Nice.
It's locked in. We're going to start working on the lineup sooner rather than later. And of course, as all things, festivals cost money. And we don't do it to raise money for ourselves. We do it so we can take that money and put it right back into the podcast.
Yep.
As we've said it a million times, the whole mission of the podcast is to do exactly what we're doing now, and it's to bring you guys that are watching and listening, bands from the area, from the 561 area, that maybe you haven't heard of. So, new music, original music from the area,
Yep.
And just things like that. So, follow us on our socials at 561 Music Podcast. Go to our website, www.561music.com. You can listen to episodes there, the links to the YouTube. There's a donate button if you want to become a sponsor, if you just want to make a one-time donation, and then like and subscribe.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks so much for coming, and hopefully you guys will come and play our festival in April. You be up
We
there?
would love to.
Would
That sounds awesome. Let's do it.
Fantastic.
Fuck yeah.
Wicked.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.